MyOpenMath has two different options for question types that require students to enter N-Tuples, which would be used most likely primarily for coordinate points or vectors. Under N-Tuple, we'll find numeric, calculated, complex. We're going to look at calculated because numeric and calculated are very similar. But calculated allows us to enter mathematical expressions without variables and gives us sort of the stylized answer entry bar just to help students with entering symbols and notation, things like that. Complex and calculated complex will be similar, though they would allow us to enter complex numbers with the imaginary number I, and algebraic would allow n-tuples but with variables expressed as part of either the point or vector. So we'll take a look at n-tuples calculated. Here we can set our answer to be coordinate pairs like A, B, or if we need an ordered triple, we can add comma C and continue adding however many coordinates we need. We can also enter those pairs. Here I use parentheses. We can use brackets. We can use curly braces, or we can use, I don't know what to call those except for the vector notation. If we had multiple solutions, we can separate those by a comma. Or if we have multiple possible correct answers, we could separate, instead of with commas, we could separate with ors. So the difference there being any of these 3 points would be acceptable, versus in the previous version, all 3 of those coordinate pairs would have to be listed. Let's go ahead and set this to something simple like 1, 3 as our single coordinate point that we need as an answer. We have the option display format, which allows us to plug in different formatting requirements. For instance, point would require that we use a pair of parentheses, versus vector would require us to use those angle bracket vector notation symbols. Since we're doing a coordinate point, we'll leave that as point. And then we have some answer formatting options. For instance, we can include the option scalar mult, which allows any answer that's a scalar multiple of the correct answer. There's the option any order. In this case, the point 1, 2 would be accepted as equally equivalent to the point 2, 1. We also have options to dictate the type, the format our number should be in. So for instance, we could require a fraction, we could require a reduced fraction. We could also set this to be mixed number. We could set this to be frac or decimal. So we have some of these different options that we can include depending if we want our answers formatted in a particular format. If our values are 1, 3, we don't really need any of those, but we do have that option. We also have the option to include no solution or no solution infinite, which will add radio buttons to select those additional answer options. So if we include those and add that answer box to our question text, we would see we would have the option to enter that coordinate point, or select no solution or infinite number of solutions. In this case, our answer should be 1, 3, which checks out.